Thanks, Bobby, and hello, everybody. I'm Al Krieger, and I live in Lake Villa, Illinois. And can I have the first slide, please? I'd like to talk about my piece in the show. This is entitled Queer Boy, and it actually is started off as a grade school picture of myself. That's the center figure. And then turned into a giant collage. And the way I do things is that I scan the photograph was scanned into the computer and then manipulated in Photoshop. The whole rest of the center medallion is collaged in Photoshop. So the bananas are stock photos that I downloaded from the internet. The pansies are all from Victorian Valentines that I also downloaded from the internet. And there's a lot of double meanings in things here. I like to keep things funny and kind of hidden. The bananas are not only a phallic thing, but they're also fruits, which is sometimes a derogatory term for someone who's queer. I am gay. I didn't come out of the closet until much later, so I was a late bloomer. But I felt that the verbiage here, the queer boy, I was a very strange child. I was oversensitive, cried at the drop of a hat, was embarrassed easily and all that stuff. And I did feel that there was something different about me from everyone else. So again, back to the actual piece, it was collaged in Photoshop. And then I use a Spoonflower web service to transfer it to fabric. This was transferred to Kona cotton. And then once I received the image back, I hand embroidered quite a few of the details, especially the eyes. I hand embroidered details on all the flowers and even on some of the bananas. And I like doing the handwork, and I feel it enhances the piece. And then finally, I had it laying around the studio for a while, and I have a collection of vintage tablecloths. And this lilac one just happened to be out, and the piece fell on top of it, and it was a perfect marriage. So then I appliqued by machine the central medallion with the image and all the flowers, and then assembled it into a quilt with backing and batting, and then this top. I free motion quilted all around all of the flowers, also myself. It's mostly done in size 50 weight black cotton to bring out the outlines of things. And then free motion quilted mostly in white in the background, very densely to make the whole thing pop. And then finally, I felt a binding would kind of distract from it. So the edge is lavender chenille yarn that's couched down around the entire edge. So again, it really shows a part of me that I was kind of reluctant to even recognize for a while, but now it's really a great part of me. And many of my pieces are self-exploratory in this way. So can I have the next slide, please? This was done when this is all bead embroidered. This is my high school yearbook picture. And I felt like I was about 40 years old and was very tightly wound and was a straight A student, didn't drink, didn't smoke, and was just a good boy. So that's what I entitled this piece. It's entirely bead embroidered. The image was scanned into the computer, and then at that time I used t-shirt transfer paper to iron it onto a vintage pillowcase. And the pillowcase kind of represents hopes and dreams of things. The halo was very interesting. I just took a plate and drew around it, and the pink beads in the halo are 24 karat gold lined. So it looks kind of like it's kind of embarrassing for me, but still that's part of me that I wanted to celebrate. The suit is bead weaving that was tacked down there. That's herringbone stitch in triangle sized beads. So next slide. This is my first art quilt, and I was really very pleased to have it accepted into Quilt National 2017. Again, I'm celebrating my awkward teenage years. This is a picture of me in high school, standing next to the family house, which we lived in on the south side of Milwaukee at the time. And I just was so embarrassed by it that I had to make it into a piece. So again, it was transferred to fabric. I eliminated some of the details by using applique to cover over some of the distractions. And then again, in Photoshop, I took the word dork and put it all through the siding in the side. And I just really was a dork, but that's just the way it was. And the siding really fascinated me. That's all silk, variegated silk ribbon that's hand couched down with single strands of embroidery floss. It took quite a while and almost drove me crazy, but oftentimes in my pieces, I get kind of fixated on a small detail and wanted that to really show, to really work. So next slide. Here's another self-portrait. This time in the 70s, I was a hippie, or kind of a wannabe hippie. And this is from a Polaroid picture that was taken of me in the family kitchen. And I didn't really change the photo that much. Again, it was transferred to fabric. And the navy blue sweater, which was almost my uniform at the time, which I thought made me look thin, but I don't think it really did, is done in sport weight wool yarn in chain stitch. And then the flower in the center is from a vintage French seed packet that I have a collection of. Finally, the hippie verbiage in the bottom is there's vintage 1970s trim all tacked down over all the letters. And again, this was a process I was developing at the time and I use all the time now, is that I I do a lot of hand embroidery. The hair is all French knots. I do like putting a lot of hand embroidery and small details in the piece, and then it's layered with backing and batting and quilted, mostly just outlining all the major forms, again, in black thread. So the last slide. And this is one of my most recent works. I wanted to put a plug in for the Illinois-Wisconsin SAQA group. We meet once a month, and it's a great group of people. This will be in the show called Views of the Midwest. And this is a photo I took of Wrigley Field in the early 1970s during the dead of winter. It was very cold. And I just loved all the shapes. And so I think that's it for me. I do want to encourage people to use their sense of humor. I don't take anything too seriously, and a lot of my work is that way, but that's just the way it is.